Shalom uvracha, peace and blessing to all, and welcome to Hasidic Insights, spreading the wellsprings of the Baal Shem Tov and his students to the chutzah, to the outside world. Our sages say that the time will come when there will be a world that will not know war and will only know peace and harmony and goodness and brotherhood and unity. And that will be when the wellsprings of the Baal Shem Tov will be found everywhere outside. The name of something represents the essence. And Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, whose name was Israel, master of the good name, represented the essence of what all can attain and aspire to. Yisrael represents the letters Li Rosh, to me a head. And it is through the study of the Torah and the performance of the mitzvahs that we are then able to elevate the physical world to a spiritual level that will ultimately be one unified totally with God. There are various names that things are known by. One can be a righteous individual, a tzaddik, and God forbid one can lose that status. One can be the opposite of a tzaddik, a righteous individual, and he can become a righteous individual. In other words, there are certain things that are changeable. The essence of the Jewish people, known as the children of Israel, B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel, represents that part of a Jew that can never be sullied and never be destroyed. And as our sages say, Afal pi shechata, even though he has sinned, Yisrael, he's still that Israelite. He or she is still able to attain that connection to God. And though there may be things that are obstacles and separate us, they can be removed. But the essential nature of a Jewish person is that he will always be Yisrael, known as the head that will ultimately bring the Messianic age. We're in the portion of Chukas. The word Chukah means a decree. It's not associated with intellect, with understanding. It is the way God has decreed certain things that will be, and though we finite human beings cannot comprehend them, for we are after all finite and God is infinite, there is still a great merit in performing them. The very fact that we do not understand something does not mean that it is not true. There is this famous story of Rabbi Yochanan and his students when it came to the commandment of the red heifer, of which there were 9 throughout Jewish history. The 10th one will ultimately be the one that will usher in the Messianic era, that the one who prepared it became impure, and the ones who received the ashes became pure. It is not that the ashes themselves or the red heifer itself creates that purity or impurity. It is the fact that Hashem, God, has ordained that so it is, and therefore it is, and though we cannot comprehend it, it is true that it is so. There are many things in the Torah that we cannot understand, but they teach us many things. In the famous story when the Jewish people complained to God and they were punished by the poisonous snakes that came upon them, Moses is commanded by God to create a staff of copper with a snake of copper upon it, and saying to the people that when you will look at the snake that is on the top of the copper staff, then you will be healed. So our sages ask the question, is it really the snake or the copper staff that heals? Of course not. But why is it that it is to be held aloft and to be looked at, so that we will then see the heavens and realize that it is God the Creator who ultimately gives the healing. A doctor is given a mission to heal. As our sages tell us, the Torah tells us, Rape Yirape, but the healing comes from God. May we merit to realize that all of the things that happen in the world are done for the sake of the Jewish people and the world at large. We're all intertwined and connected on this small ship called planet Earth. And as it goes with righteousness in the world and with goodness and kindness, then the world merits in turn goodness and kindness. But if the world pursues falsehood, hypocrisy, and tells one that truth is false and false is truth, then we merit that same measure. May we merit to see a world that realizes that truth is truth and falsehood is falsehood, and in that way merit to see that evil will be removed from the face of the earth. And we shall all merit to see that the butchery and the barbarism that we see almost every day in our headlines will be turned into plowshares and pruning hooks, as Isaiah says, Shayo, and we will merit and know God, for all of the world will be covered with the knowledge of God as the waters of the sea. Shalom, uvracha, and lehitraot, and we will again see each other. Thank you.